After several weeks of waiting since its release date, Ubisoft's free-to-play Call of Duty competitor XDefiant has finally arrived on Geforce Now in full force. With this currently being the only pick-up-and-play cloud gaming platform that has the game, is Geforce Now suitable enough to be as competitive as you can be, or can you do enough damage to upset your opponents with names like this, especially when they want to resort to primitive ways? Well, let's arm up in Tom Clancy's, no, not Tom Clancy's XDefiant, and see if we can do damage on all tiers of Geforce Now. Now let's start with the free tier because most are going to be playing on this tier because this is a free-to-play game. Now for those new to Geforce Now and looking to see whether this way to play is right for you, the free tier is one of the best ways to try this. Recently, they just increased capacity for the free tier, so now is a great time to jump on. Granted, the free tier does have some caveats. Since Geforce Now has increased its user base by over 10 million in the past year, queue wait times have been pretty crazy. But lately, it hasn't been so bad. As I mentioned, Nvidia has increased the free tier capacity over the past few months, so the wait time isn't as bad. Nvidia has also introduced ads on the free tier as well. Some users will get up to 2 minutes of ads during your queue wait.
Jesus Christ!
Usually, the biggest problem free tier users have is the hour time session. Currently though, the biggest problem is the game crashing primarily with the free and priority tiers. Nvidia is actively working to fix this issue. Now how does the game play on the free tier? Well, XDefiant isn't a crazy demanding game which makes the crashing a very odd occurrence. Geforce Now's GTX 1060 configuration plays the game just fine at medium-high settings thanks to no ray tracing or crazy graphics in this game. But this tier has been known to crash the game at the character select screen. Now if you're lucky, you might get the 2080 configuration in which I had great success with no crashes. And as you can see, it is completely possible to play the game competitively even on the free tier. Granted, you still might have to get used to that slight lag that might not be present for you locally, but if this is the only way for you to play, I guess it doesn't matter. So what are the benefits of getting a paid tier like the priority tier? With the priority tier, you still get a max resolution of 1080p with a max stream of 60 FPS. Plus, there are two configurations you'll get with the priority tier, the RTX 2080 and the 3060 configuration respectively. Hit Ctrl N to see this network panel above. Now in terms of graphics and performance for each configuration, each play the game perfectly fine at high settings around 60 FPS consistently with no added graphical benefit. The 6-hour session and skipping the queue are the biggest benefits for playing XDefiant on the priority tier. But please note that the 3060 configuration has been known to crash the game at the character select screen once again. Now I've told the Geforce Now team this, and since then, I haven't been able to get a 3060 configuration since, so they must be prioritizing the 2080 to minimize crashes. Check to see what configuration you're running with Ctrl N. I also recommend the priority tier for mobile users. Geforce Now requires a controller to play on mobile, so I highly recommend using a Razer Kishi for Android or a Backbone for iPhone. Both links are in the description, but if you need to, you can use the on-screen controls. So what about the Ultimate tier? The Ultimate tier is designed to stream the game up to 4K at 120 FPS, 1080p up to 240 FPS, and ultra-wide monitors up to 120 FPS. Geforce Now hits 2 out of the 3 of these features for XDefiant. Geforce Now doesn't have the 240 FPS stream feature, even though in several scenarios, I have hit about 240 FPS. This was rare, mind you, but it would still be nice to hit a stream above 120. The game does perform great at a high FPS. I did manage to go deathless for a whole game with these settings. Just saying. Now playing with an ultra widescreen monitor might be a game changer for some. Getting that wide aspect ratio can give you that visual advantage which is completely possible with the Ultimate tier on XDefiant. If you have an ultra wide monitor, I highly recommend getting the Ultimate tier to play at your best. But really though, I think playing at 4K is where the game shines on the Ultimate tier. A game FPS above 120 plus reflex on will put you in a great situation to perform well. Also, I never crashed on this tier at all.
You got it done.
Now be aware that there is a minimum GPU requirement to handle streaming at this rate. NVIDIA recommends a minimum of a GTX 10 series GPU or equivalent to handle decoding the stream. Make sure your device has a graphics processor equal or greater than this to get the best of what the Ultimate tier can offer. Ultimate can also be played on the Shield TV Pro, qualifying mini PCs, and the Samsung Gaming Hub on select Samsung TVs. I will put the links to these devices and the GPU requirements in the description. And speaking of the Shield TV Pro, this device is good to go for playing the Ultimate tier right out of the box. Just plug it in, set up your internet and controller, and you're set to play. Don't forget to make sure that you have decent internet. I would have a minimum download speed of 50 megabits per second for priority members, and 100 megabits per second for the Ultimate tier for maximum bitrate streams, especially if you live with others using the internet. Now, saying all this, Geforce Now is a great way to play the game, but I do have to admit, this is one of the few games that I think I play better on my local PC than I do on the platform, but not by much. But Geforce Now might be the only way to play the game on a pick-up-and-play cloud platform right now, and in turn, the only way to play the game on your mobile device. So if you're a mobile player, playing on Geforce Now will be the ticket for you. Now, if you're looking for more footage, I'll have a full match in 4K on my personal channel linked in the description if you're looking for more XDefiant gameplay. So if you like this review of XDefiant on all tiers of Geforce Now, give us a like. Also, make sure to join as a member of the channel or join our Patreon and our Discord in the links below. And above all else, make sure to subscribe to keep it locked right here at the only place where you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle.